Hello, my friends, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we are going to talk a little bit about the Pocket Pair CEO. He's actually said some stuff recently, both addressing the drama regarding streaming people's games, as well as the idea of a dead game. So this is on Automaton. Pocket Pair CEO says he can't thank streamers enough for spreading word about Palworld, expressing gratitude amidst video game streaming controversy. And this is by Amber V. Takuro Mizobi, the CEO of Palworld, developer Pocket Pair, recently took to his personal X account to express his thoughts on video game content creators. This didn't come out of the blue, though, as over the past few days, there's been some tense discourse about video game YouTubers and Twitch streamers in the Japanese gaming community. It all started when the author of a recently launched visual novel game called Apathy Murder Club publicly spoke about taking legal measures against the content creator that broke the embargo and streamed multiple endings of their game on its launch day. Rules set by developers about streaming of their games are generally taken more seriously in Japan than in overseas circles, and uploading full gameplay of linear, story-driven games, such as visual novels, is often seen as harmful to the creator and their income. Thus, the said developers' lengthy X thread on the issue gained significant traction, and among it, criticism for content creators who disregard streaming guidelines. Pocket Pair's CEO also chimed in on the topic, commenting that this was a very unfortunate incident caused by an individual with poor manners, and that it is important for developers and players to respect each other and follow each other's rules, as there are developers who do not wish for their games to be streamed, and game genres that do not benefit from the act. I'm going to have to disagree there. While I understand that for some watchers, watching the game all the way through will dissuade them from playing, but at the same time, there are plenty of watchers who will pick up the game because they like the tone without watching it all the way through. They don't have to watch the whole game through if they don't want to. I still think that they would find that more people end up buying the game than not buying the game. But you're kind of back to the whole Napster issue back in the day, where people were so upset about them pirating their music, when realistically most people, they might pirate a song or two, but in the end they would go back and buy the actual album, buy the merch, because hey, they liked the music, they liked the band, and they actually wanted the physical copies. Now that might be a little less of a thing now that there is no physical copies. But at the same time, it is also much easier to access your music. But again, they're not making as much off of it either, I don't think, with the way the streaming deals and everything work. And mostly because Metallica decided that they couldn't lose just a little bit of money. At the same time, Mizobi brought back some positivity into the conversation, but I want to comment here to say that most game content creators do follow the rules, and that there are many developers who are happy to see their games being streamed. He cites the example of Pocket Pair's games, which have benefited greatly from exposure on YouTube and Twitch. I can't thank streamers enough for making Pocket Pair's games enjoyable for so many people. On that note, among video games that launched in 2024, Palworld has so far been the most popular release on Twitch, being watched for over 78 million hours. But aside from helping spread the word, Mizobi also mentions that watching streams and even casual Discord lives has helped motivate the development team and provided them with valuable player feedback. I also believe that the culture of streaming games is a wonderful thing in itself, and I think that game content creators play a big role in lighting up the game industry, Pocket Pair CEO comments. And while I understand for the most part, Japan has a very strict self-honor system. Thus, when a creator of a video game, a developer, asks, hey, please don't, it is more expected in their culture to for other people to listen to that. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I do feel like that even though it's a digital product, that these people do get to have ownership of what they've created. They've spent their time, their effort, their money into creating it, so they do have an ownership of it. Thus, I don't think that it's unreasonable for them to ask people to not stream for a period of time if that's what they truly believe. Now, on the other side of that, I also don't think there's anything wrong if streamers then choose to never stream it. If they don't like the rules that a developer is putting in place regarding streaming a game, I have no issue if streamers at that point look at it and say, this is too much, I don't want to deal with this, and then never stream it. They are well within their rights to do that. And honestly, I do believe that's how it should be handled. It shouldn't be, well, I'm going to do it anyway. Because all you're doing is technically you're still helping them. So while you're snubbing their direct request, you are also giving their game your time and more attention, which no matter what they said to you, helps them in the end. And personally, I would rather spend my time supporting games that support my ability to stream them, make things easier for me to stream them, create tools to make it so that I can be interactive with my viewers on stream, that kind of stuff, than the games who tell me I can't stream for XYZ amount of time. Honestly, in XYZ amount of time, I've likely forgotten about your game and moved on to something else, especially when you're talking about these visual novel types that aren't very long in the first place. Now, while I find flaws in what Mizobi has said here, I do appreciate that he also understands the value of streamers, not just for getting the word out about his game, but also about helping build the game in general. We have a second article tonight, I think I already mentioned, from Ars Technica, and it says, "Is Palworld a dead game? Who cares?" says the game's developer. And to answer the dead game question, right now, as of 1:25 a.m., August 1st, there are 30,481 players. Now, personally, I don't believe that's a dead game. 30,000 people in a game is a lot of people. Maybe, just maybe, players want more new ideas rather than line services. This is by Kevin Purdy. Palworld's head of community has a radical idea. Stop caring about how many people are playing a game at the same time as you. I'm not going to lie. I've never understood why people care how many other people are playing the same single player game. When it comes to a multiplayer game and an MMO, I get it, especially when you're doing like quests or dungeons or something where matchmaking is an issue, and if there's not enough people online, you are not going to make your matches so that you can go through the quest or the dungeon or whatever. But when it's a single player game, I don't care if 50,000, 10 million, whatever. I don't care how many people are playing it, because I'm not playing with them. I don't care if they're playing the same game as I am, because I play my game to enjoy it myself. If I'm streaming, I enjoy it if people come by and hang out and we talk and they watch me and we can talk about it. But when I'm playing just a single player game, even then, I don't need hundreds of thousands of other people playing the same game. Yeah, it'd probably benefit me more if I played the same game as hundreds of thousands of other people, since that means I'm more likely to get views. But I'm just not that person. I'm going to play what I want to play, and hopefully people will stop by and watch. And if not, hey, that's cool too. I still got to play my game. It's pitched mostly at developers and games media, but John Buckley also wants players to let go of the dead game mentality. Who cares if there's only 5 people playing it? Just enjoy yourself. Just enjoy games. I don't think it needs to be any more complex than that, Buckley said in an interview on the Going Indie YouTube channel. The people at Palworld developer Pocket Pair in particular would have a reason for panic if they subscribed to the mentality that active online players are the key benchmark for modern gaming. The game launched into early access in January 2024 at rocket speed, selling 5 million copies and reaching 1.3 million concurrent Steam players, surpassing Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3. By February 1st, the game had sold 19 million copies between Xbox and Steam and was the biggest third-party game launch yet on Xbox Game Pass service. And keep in mind, that's early access. Given that the creature-catching survival game with a notably chill approach to intellectual property has so far managed to avoid being sued into oblivion by Pokemon, mostly because while some of the creatures look close, there's a lot of difference. You can only copyright something so much. And yet, gaming sites and streaming personalities made sure to note that Palworld suffered Steam's biggest ever 2-week drop by mid-February, or was looking like a dead game, as streamer Asmongold said into the microphone around that same time. Oh god. Okay, we'll have a discussion about this in a second. You know what? We'll do this now. So something a lot of people don't understand, and I'm not sure why they don't understand it. I don't know where it's supposed to be taught that I learned it and other people didn't. When you have something that sells really huge right out the gate, those sales are unsustainable. It is not something that is likely to maintain across time. While realistically and normally, a sales graph will look an upward scale. You'll start low and then you'll slowly build upward. There are rare occasions where what happens is an item, a product is so hot that it right out the gate sells massively. Now, that does not guarantee that it'll drop to zero. That really depends on a few things. It depends on the type of product, and it depends on how the business behind it manages that product. A smart business will pay attention to its customer base, build on what they want, and as things slope downward to a more healthy, normal, sustainable level, they will manage their expectations and the expectations of their players or customers so that they can ease into something new. And once you have dropped to a certain point, it levels out. And that is normal. That will be your normal base, and you will have ups and downs from there, but then you have reached your normal base. Most people have to climb up to that. But like I said, rare occasions, you start at the top and you have to manage your way down. Way too many businesses have that happen where they start at the top, and because they think that, oh my God, everybody likes what I got, I've got to pump all this money into it, and they go crazy basically. And they end up driving themselves into the ground because they don't account for the fall. They don't account for the fact that while, yes, we sold this hard out the gate, this is not normal. This is not where it'll stay. Up is not the direction we're going from here. As long as you're maintaining profitability, then you'll be fine. And that's what you have to do, is you have to focus on keeping costs under control and making sure that when it eventually evens out, you are not past that point, that your costs at that point aren't exceeded by what you make. And it's a difficult thing to do. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of skill, and a lot of control to be able to handle that situation. And that is exactly why companies, for the most part, that start high and drop die, because they try to ramp themselves up to meet that high too often. They try to stay up at that high too much, and they spend the money they made off of that high without saving any for the drop. This has been Economics with Amarada. All right, back to the article. It's fine to take breaks from games. As far back as February 20th, Buckley, or Bucky, has been pushing back against metrics as the thing that matters. The emerging Palworld has lost X% of its player base. Discourse is lazy, Buckley wrote on X. But it's probably also a good time to step in and reassure those of you capable of reading past the headline that it is fine to take breaks from games. Okay, yeah, he understands who he's talking to. Too many people don't read past the headlines. Lots of what Buckley wrote then and said in the recent interview is some combination of common sense and remarkable candor. Stop when you're done, play other games, try different genres, support indies in particular, and don't worry about Palworld, which will put out more content, but not constantly. As noted by Going Indie's host, a dead game can earn that label through many vectors: concurrent players, developer support, or competitive environment, to name a few. Every game in existence will be dead eventually, and that used to be a normal, good thing. Developers started new projects, and players looked forward to new experiences. Oh my God, that's so true. I hate that everybody seems to think now that every game, every franchise has to go on forever. We need a new one. No, you don't need a new one. Let the story end and move to a new story. There's nothing wrong with a story being over. You don't need to know how Harry's great-great-grandchildren are doing. You don't. It's time for something new. But the advent of live service games, meant to pull in more money over time through subscriptions and microtransactions, has made a game something that publishers, especially the large kind, never want to see die. They create consistent revenue rather than the spikes of traditional game publishing, and there are North Stars to look at, like GTA Online or, until recently, Destiny and Destiny 2. Yeah, Bungie is so screwed. I mean, it makes sense why they would push to go for the steady income as opposed to the spikes. Because people in general want consistency. They want that comfort of something coming in regularly. And they fear the idea of the inconsistent. They fear the idea of, we're going to wake up tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to finish this game. But what if it doesn't sell? They don't like that idea. Nobody does. Nobody likes the idea that when they go to work, they may not get their paycheck. So on a human level, it's normal. When it comes to creativity and if it's good for gamers, it's bad. Bad, bad, bad. Gaming used to be full of people who were taking risks, who were trying something new because, well, like I've said it in a few videos, specifically in the Dragon Age videos, they didn't know the rules, so they didn't know what they were breaking. And still today, there really aren't any rules. They've invented rules to trap themselves, which is frustrating and sad and very, very bad for games. Because what we need are people who are going to go in again and look at this and say, okay, so maybe those are your rules, but they're not mine. And make a game playing by their own rules, or make up their own rules, or just say, fuck it, there are no rules, instead of trying to build off the same scaffolding everybody else has. And that's where we are, is everybody's trying to build off the same scaffolding because, again, they like the blueprint, they like the consistency, they like the ease of money. The people in game development right now are not risk takers. They're not people who are looking to create something brand new. They're looking to create something profitable. Now, something brand new can often be profitable, but you have to be willing to take that risk. All right, I'm off on a tangent, sorry. I don't think it really serves anyone to push gamers to just play the same game day in, day out, Buckley tells Going Indie, and it's not good for gamers either. While some games, like League of Legends or an MMO, are built to avoid burnout, whereas what we're seeing now is a trend of, I won't necessarily say who's trying to push it, but a lot more people are trying to push gamers to play games that aren't really designed to be played for months on end. Yes. And they forgot how to build a game that is designed to be played for months on end. They have this single player concept that they're trying to stretch into this live service game. It doesn't really work in a single player environment. It's something that you need multiplayers to do, because honestly, interacting with the other humans is part of what gives you the variety. Now, am I saying it's impossible? No, I do think it's possible. The Sims, for example, is a game that people can play for months and years on end because it's a game that you can create new experiences in every time. Your general single player game isn't going to have that. Palworld suggests people like new things. While Palworld allows for online play, its huge concurrent player numbers were not the result of its developer carefully cultivating a fear of missing out among players. As Andrew Cummings wrote at the peak of Palworld's success, it was more about the devs giving something new to a community that has been habitually starved for something truly new. Sure, many people are here seeing a machine gun toting Pikachu mow down other Pikachu, but a ton of people are also there to voice some kind of discontent with the Pokemon franchise as it currently stands, expressing a desire for a deeper and more communal game. I think we can look at the combination of review, sales, and active users and see there's clearly an audience hankering for more radical change. In other words, moving on to the next idea, rather than competing to keep the same limited pool of constantly online gamers engaged with shareholder-friendly continuity. I don't think you need to be kind of pushing yourself to play the same game all the time, Buckley says in the interview. It's not healthy for us. It's not healthy for developers. It's not healthy for gamers. It's not healthy for gaming media. And it's just not healthy for our industry. Because the more we push this kind of narrative, the more very large companies are going to say, gamers want more live service. And we're just going to get more of these really soulless live service games that come out and that get shut down 9 to 12 months later because they're not making enough money. Or in some cases, They're going to try to push a new one out, and it's not even going to hit. It's not. It's going nowhere because people just aren't interested. And especially in our current economic climate, people don't have the money for a constantly online live service game where they have to continually pay out money. They just don't have it. A lot of people would be willing to drop $40, $50, $60, even $70 on a game if it provided them with a long enough entertainment scale. And even if they would eventually finish it. I mean, I don't know how other people typically value their time, but for me, I can be pretty lenient with how long my game lasts me. If a $10 game takes me 2 hours, I don't feel that bad. That's $5 an hour. That's less than I make at work. So that's not terrible. Worth my time to keep me entertained for 2 hours. Sometimes it's even something I can go back and replay again. If it's more than that, it better keep me entertained longer, though. I'm just saying. But on both sides of the equation, on the gamer side and the developer side, there is this weird push to make everything last as long as possible. Gamers don't. Now, it's different on each side. Gamers want, longer franchises. They want Elder Scrolls 6 and GTA 6 and Fable 4. I don't think actually anybody wants Fable 4, come to think of it. But that's beside the point. They want things that have that familiarity to them that they loved. And developers want a consistent income of money. They don't want to have to worry about, is this next game I just finished developing going to be a hit? They would much rather be able to rake in that consistent money, which is part of why they're trying to go to gaming as a service, that gas again. But that FOMO, that fear of missing out, really gets a lot of people. Far too many people don't have control of themselves. I need to get that game right now. Why? Unless it's a multiplayer game, I don't understand why you need it right now. If it's a single player game, it will wait. It will be there when you get to it. It's not going anywhere. In a multiplayer game, you might be missing the window in which they actually have enough players for you to have fun. That's the downside there. But there really does need to be a realigning of thought on both the developer's side and the gamer's side. We have to acknowledge the role we play in shaping the gaming economy. If we can make better decisions for ourselves, we will force the game developers to make better decisions for us, because they can't keep getting away with selling just whatever they think we might want. It's no good. It's wrong. And I want to see new, amazing things. I would like to see something genuinely creative, something that isn't just all fancy graphics and effects and whatever. I want to see some kind of new control scheme or something. Just give me something. I'd love to see it. If you're out there working on something, please don't give up. That's all I can say. That said, what do you guys think? Do you think the Japanese are a little too strict when it comes to the whole streaming thing? Do you think it's fair for a developer to ask streamers to wait a little bit in hopes of ensuring other people will buy their games? Or, I think I asked the question last night. Or do you believe that harms them in the long run? Do you think that we need to start focusing so much on this long-running gaming stuff? Are you prepared to live in a world where you move from one game to another despite what the developer wants? I am. So, there will be a gaming stream tonight at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. I will be doing some Dragon Age Origins. I think I have to give the medication to the dog, and there's a couple other things to do, and then we will start the battle, and we'll move on from there. But I hope to see you there tonight. I hope to read your thoughts down in the comments, and thank you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. If you really liked it, you can feel free to share it around, and I will catch you later.